I pronounce your name.
It's pronounced Nate. It's
Nate.
like Nate, the English name, but plural.
Okay. So Nate, welcome to Nix Friday. Today,
Thank you.
yeah, we wanted to talk about Direnv and Nix integration.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's super nice that you're doing this, helping
Yeah,
noobs like myself to get into the Nix environment and ecosystem.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and hopefully other people are also watching, so everyone gets to learn a bit more about Nix, which is awesome. Nix is the future.
Yeah,
Hey, Black Razor is here on the stream. Welcome back. So we were talking before that I would start with a demo of Direnv, and then we could switch to your setup, and then we have a look at what you're doing, and then see if we can improve a few things.
sounds good.
So Direnv, I wrote Direnv myself, I think 10 years ago or something like that. It's for my own personal use. And now people are starting to use it, which is kind of surprising to me. But yeah, so if to use Direnv, there's a website called Direnv.net, and you install it. So it's basically comes with two parts. You apt get install, or it's packaged in most distros since it was released 10 years ago. So you install it, and then you have to set up a hook into your shell. And this is what provides the... So Direnv is a bit like a shell extension, if you want. And what allows you to do is, when you change directory, it looks for a file called .nvrc into your current directory and parent directories. And if there is one, it's gonna load it. And if there's no file, it's gonna unload the environment and restore your original environment. So the nice thing is you don't have to create a subshell or anything, you just cd into your project, you have your environment loaded, and you cd out, and you're good to go. So what you have to do, for example, for bash, you have to set up in your bash rc, you have to add a line called Direnv hook. So eval Direnv hook bash, and that sets up the hook for you. And yeah, once you have that, you reload your shell so that it loads the bash rc, or you run exec bash, and then you're good to go. So let me just show you. So I'm on the stream right now. I'm just showing in my terminal. So let's say you have a project like foobar, and in here you have maybe a bin folder, and then in the bin folder you have a script. So you have the script, and every time you need to do bin hello to call it. So it would be nice if it was on the path. So what you can do is use Direnv edit to open the .nvrc, and then you say export path equal pwd bin and path. And if you do that, then now you can see it's loaded the nvrc, and it's changed the path. So now we can see foobar bin is on the path. And if we go outside of the project, now we can see it's unloaded the environment. So that's basically it, right? Like, you just set environment variables, and it can be any environment variables. It could be secrets for your project. It could be different environment variables that change the behavior of your program, like Go has a Go modules environment variable that sets the modules. So that's it, right? We can finish the stream. But yeah, so there's one more thing that you want to know about, is that there's a bunch of functions that are available in the context of the env. These are shortcuts. For example, this, if you forget to add the path at the end, then now you would get a path with just a bin folder, and that would be problematic, right? Because now you don't have access to all your system tools anymore. So we have a small shortcut called path add, and this automatically expands the bin. It puts it in front of your path, and it prevents you from doing that type of mistake, right? So that basically does the same thing. And now we're seeing this Direnv error, env is blocked, run Direnv allow to approve its content. So this is part of the security model of Direnv. It doesn't load env unless it knows about it. And because we edited the file with Vim, now it doesn't know about this file anymore. So what we should do if we see that, we should inspect the file. And if we think that it's fine, we allow the execution, and now it loads Direnv again. The Direnv edit command, basically, if you change the file and you write it, then it automatically allows it. So it's a nice shortcut if you don't want to do Direnv allow anymore. What else? So the stdlib has a lot of content here. Basically you have, I think the interesting parts are, so you can load a .env file. That's a different format. So you can do .env and it's gonna load .env files. That's a format that's used in Ruby, Word, and Node.js Word. There's also a bunch of layouts. So you can say this project is a Ruby layout, and now it's going to set up some Ruby specific things. And there's a bunch of layout for Perl, Ruby, Python, Go. Yeah, I forgot, but that you should just look at the documentation for that. And then there's a use prefix where you can use Ruby, I think. And this is, so layout is the project layout, and use is when you want to load a version of something, like a version of Python or a version of Ruby. And this is not super well supported, and we're gonna talk a bit more about the use Nix command that is interesting to us. So Direnv just sets up the environment, but then at some point we want to source external dependencies. So we can say, for this project I need Ruby, and I need Ruby version XYZ. And that's where Nix kind of comes in and completes the tool with the version pinning. Do you want me to do a demo about that quickly, or?
Let's do that.
All right. So in Nix, what we have usually is we have a shell.nix file. And here we just import the Nix packages from the system environment, but usually would pin that to a specific version, so everyone gets the same. And then here you say, I need Ruby. And this would take the default version of Ruby that's currently in the current version of Nix packages. So if I do this, and I run Nix shell. Now I have Ruby version 265. And you want to avoid doing that, so what you can do is if you type use Nix in the envarc, now it's gonna load the shell. It works exactly the same, so you have Ruby available. If you go out, you don't have Ruby, or like a different, that's my system version of Ruby. Alright, so now we have the control on all the development dependencies of the project. Yeah, I think that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how I'm using it. I just have used Nix and then shell.nix file.
Oh, Black Quasar. See you, Black Quasar. See you on the next stream. Black Quasar is my most trusted follower. It's great to have someone that's always there, you know. Oh, there's a thing I wanted to mention about this. Is sometimes you import another file in the shell.nix, right? Like, let's say you have a Nix packages.nix that sets the version of Nix packages. So let's say this is a pinned version of Nix packages, and then in your shell.nix you import the Nix packages.nix instead of this one, right? So that's still working. But the problem is, if you change the version of Nix packages here, it doesn't reload the shell automatically anymore. So
makes sense.
We have in Nix you can track files, so you can say watch file Nix packages.nix, and now it's gonna track that file as well for changes. So if I do this, it reloads. So what you want to do usually is you have a Nix folder for your project, and then what you do is let's move the Nix packages into it, and then in here you do something like for file in Nix do watch file. I should probably add a watch folder or some function like that. Yeah, that's it. So maybe another thing is you can write your own extensions to the stdlib. So let's say you have, that's more for personal use, but you can have a config Direnv RC, and in here you can put functions. So that's kind of my playground where I put things. And you can see I overrode the useNix function because I changed the implementation, but I could also do like oh, and it's read-only right now. But so in here you could have I could write the watch folder function, for example, and then reuse it in the envarc.
When you say that Direnv is watching a file, I'm assuming it does the checksum of the contents?
Just checks the M time, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right, we didn't talk about the mechanism, so how does Direnv does this magic? It actually serializes the old environment in the Direnv diff environment variable. So this is a base64 gzip JSON content. And yeah. Um, there's a tool that you can use. Where is it? So there's a secret command called show dump, and you can do Direnv show dump, and it's gonna unpack this for you. So you can see there's like N and P, and I think N is the new one and P is the previous one. So it just stores these things. And so when you exit, it's just gonna reverse the changes in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, there's one for the watches. So there's a Direnv watches. And if you show this, I mean, you don't need to know about this, but yeah.
I wanted to ask if there's a possibility for Direnv to show me the changes that I'm applying. So what, when I say Direnv allow, it will print a diff of of the old and the new configuration. Because otherwise I had to read the entire envarc file. But I'm guessing that's not possible.
So the envarc itself is actually loaded inside of a subshell, in a bash subshell. And then I think that's important to know is Direnv works with Z shell and fish and other shells, right? But the envarc itself is always loaded in bash. And then when you enter foobar, you can see there's this notation here, right? And the plus are the new environment variables, and there's a tilde are the one that are being modified, and then if you have a minus, it's because it's been removed.
Yeah. No, I meant when you do Direnv allow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Or before you allow, I want to see the diff, like what's changed.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to know what's changed.
Yeah.
Before I allow it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's no. I mean, it's a Turing complete language, so it's kind of hard to know. I was thinking of changing the format to Lua or something that's sandboxed,
Mm-hmm.
But it's so convenient to be able to run any command that I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but I mean, at least seeing if ideally it would be like a git diff, so you see that this line changed and this line changed, and then you say, okay, this changes make sense, and you allow it, because now I always have to review the entire file. And I'm lazy, so I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually the security model is it's not complete, right? Because it just checks the envarc. But then if the envarc loads another file and you change that other file, it's not gonna ask you about the changes of the other file.
Oh, so it will. What is then the watch file? So the watch file is then only for.
So watch is just
Doesn't
for...
watch file do that? Just for reloading?
Yeah, just
not
for reloading.
Security.
Yeah.
Got it.
Security is just for... let's say you git clone a project and you enter it, then it doesn't load the envarc automatically. But if you trust the project, then once you allowed it, then you're kind of... It's not a complete security solution, it's more to prevent just drive-by issues. So people are not too tempted to just add an envarc in a popular project, like, yeah.
Do you is it best practice to commit and push .nvarc files to project that you do?
So it was
or
meant.
Is this not something you do?
Yeah, it was meant for personal use. So personally, I have in my global git ignore, I git ignore the nvrc, but people seem to be using that, and actually I've been doing some consulting work, and when I come to the customers, they have the nvrc in the project, and I'm like, don't do this. But yeah, it's so convenient that I guess it's okay to do it.
Okay, so I'm doing this, so I shouldn't be?
Well, the problem is I'm missing a mechanism for the user to have their own overrides for the project.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you have to add an escape hook. So if you have an nvrc in your project, you should probably add a check that says if there's a .nvrc, oops, I don't know how to type anymore. If there's a .nvrc.private, then also source the nvrc.private. That way, if the user wants to change something from your environment, they can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then git ignore the nvrc.private.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I usually do like source env and then dot secrets, and then git ignore that. So that loads the whatever secrets you want to set in environment variables.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good use case for Direnv, right? If you do 12-factor applications, you usually have some secrets as environment variables.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Turbo Mac is asking, would you recommend using Lorry together with Direnv? I think Lorry is actually using Direnv under the hood, so I guess that's fine.
What is Lorry?
Lorry is a Nix shell on steroids. Basically,
need to look that one up.
Yeah, it does a few things for you. Like if you have a very large project with a lot of Nix code, it takes a while to load the Nix code itself. And so Lorry loads the code in the background, and you save a bit of time loading the things.
Mm.
Cool. Do you want to switch to your project so we take a look?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Now, how do I do that? Present now. Does this work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, here we are. So I've been using Nix and Direnv for the past 2 months on a new project that we're building. We've already built it, we already launched it. We have around 10 to 15 users. It's built with Python in the backend and Elm in the front end. So we had, everything is in the same repository.
Maybe zoom a little bit the shell.
Sure.
Thanks.
So nice. So the thing is that we wanted to have, because it's for development experience, we wanted to have everything in the same repositories, the backend and the front end, so that when we do the changes, for example, in the backend we had some new field to the API, we can build the front end against those changes and then verify in CI that everything works, and also deploy both backend and front end at the same time, so that we don't have problems with syncing between backend and front end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna increase the font here a bit as well. we have a front end and a back end folder. Back end is Pyramid, so that's a Python web framework, and front end is Elm. And yeah, this is the envarc that we have. It's basically just use Nix.
Yeah.
And this is the shell.nix file that we use. Yeah, wait, am I on a... Yeah. Right, so basically install everything from the Elm ecosystem that we need, and then install Python and a bunch of other things that we need on Circle CI to run Selenium tests. And yeah, PostgreSQL, we need it because we use PostgreSQL as a database, and we need to install PostgreSQL so that Python can, so that all the bindings are installed so that Python can talk to Postgres. And then there's a couple of overrides that we need to do because a bunch of us, including myself, run macOS, and things are just randomly broken here in this world. And a couple of fixes for Python that I had to do to get Python environment working on Nix OS 1909.
Oh yeah, the source date epoch is an interesting one.
Yeah, no idea what's going on here, but this is how it works. I mean, this makes it work, and it's fine. I just want to move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm in here, I run Python. I get Python 3.7.5, which is what NixOS will install, and what version? Elm 0.19.
Nice.
And if I'm outside of, it takes a bit of time to load.
Yeah, we can talk about that because there's some tricks you can do to make it faster.
If I'm outside of this project directory, I don't have Elm, and I have probably some global Python installed. And I really like it that I just cd into the project and I get the correct Python and correct Elm, because I'm the founder of the company, and we have 3 active projects with a lot of supporting microservices. I'm always jumping between projects that have different Python versions and different Node.js versions, and and I had to, every about 3 to 6 months it has happened to me that I would have to remove, I used to do everything with Homebrew, and I would have to remove the entire Homebrew from my laptop and then reinstall everything from scratch, because I would install so many things into my global environment that at some point it just and also when a project is deprecated, I don't know what I have installed for that project, because I'm not diligent enough to keep an exact record of all the dependencies. And over the years you start so many projects and then you stop them, like all of this craft just piles up. And here I know that if I remove this work folder, that most of the things are going to be gone sooner or later. I don't pollute my global environment, so I'm super happy with this.
Sorry, we have our first spammer on the channel. I got distracted. It's a milestone. We have our first spammer on the chat.
Oh, that's a thing on Twitch?
Apparently.
Want to become famous. Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So you've been doing this for how long now?
About 2 months.
Okay, so it's still pretty fresh. Are you hitting any problems, or are there any confusing parts about the setup?
Oh, there are plenty. So yeah, for example, there's a new release of Python 3.7, which I think 3.7.6 is out. It's a bug fix release. I don't really have to use it, but let's imagine a scenario where I would have to use it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I have no idea how I would achieve that
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm guessing overlays based on what I've been reading, but
Yeah, but for Python, Python is a bit complicated because you want Python, but you also want some packages from Python sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, you could use overlays, I think. So
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
So actually, like the easiest way would be to find a version of Nix packages that has the right version. So you can always change the channel, right, and update Nix packages to the latest.
Everybody's saying that, but I really don't want to use the unstable channel.
Right.
Like that just scares the shit out of me.
But unstable just means that we don't guarantee versioning. Like we don't guarantee that things don't break. But if you find a working commit, then you're fine. Like it's not less stable than like a release channel actually. It's just if you update, you might end up with a different version of Postgres or Python, etc.
Yeah, and that cascades into having to check or update a lot of other things.
Right. No, you're right. Like for example, you just want to update Python and then you have a new version of Postgres, and now you need to figure out what to do with that, and and
then do a database migration potentially, and then it cascades.
So you have multiple
up
choices.
Until now, everybody said just use the unstable channel, and don't want to do that. Maybe I still should, and I'm just because I've been in this Python world for 10-12 years, and the wrong ways are so engraved into my thinking that I don't see clearly. But I'm still very scared of using an unstable channel.
Yeah,
maybe the word, maybe the name of the unstable is wrong.
So I think it takes a while to get used to this notion that once you have a commit version of Nix packages that works, then it works, right? Like it's not like other distros where if you use the unstable channel, then it could be updated at any time and then it's gonna break. So if you have like active development on a project, it makes sense to switch to unstable for the time of the development, and then maybe pin to like the stable version once you reached maturity in the project. So you get to use the latest things. So you could do that.
Yeah, but that still doesn't. So the use case that I'm afraid of is it's a project, it runs, there's no active development on it, and then there's a bug fix for Python that I really need to install.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit different.
Like at that point, I don't want to switch to unstable channel and upgrade everything. I just want to
Yeah, agreed. Like once it's like finished and you just are in maintenance mode, then all you want is just to bump the version of Python or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for that you can use overlays. You can override the version of Python, and then it's basically like a cherry pick. Like you take everything from the channel, except you change the version of Python. That's what it allows you to do.
Yeah, I need to look into overlays a bit more deeply.
Or if it's
for Python,
another possibility is you can take the stable channel and then pick a few dependencies from the unstable channel. You can do that as well. Because it's Nix, you don't have to choose. You can have both actually. It seems weird, right?
It does. It does. You said we can talk about speed.
Yeah, we can. So, like we've seen here, it's a bit slow, right? If you...
Yeah, if I open up a new tab, it takes
Yeah.
8 seconds.
Okay, so go to Direnv, that's github.com/Direnv. Okay. Is that for me or there's a problem with the billing
Sorry?
account?
Sorry?
On GitHub, there's a warning about the billing account.
Oh yeah, I don't know. No, that's for me. Like, I don't have a pro account. I don't know why they're showing this to me.
Yeah.
Enterprise.
If you go to the wiki and then the next section.
This?
Yeah. Right, so here we have a few solutions to speed the... that's all community contributed, so there's different people trying different things. And
What
actually,
are you using personally?
I can show you in my Direnv RC. So the Usenix, it works like Usenix, except that it's only rebuilds if the shell.nix or default Nix file changes. This avoids scenarios where the Nix channel is being updated and all the projects now need to be rebuilt. Yeah, because there's the problem that if you're on a plane and then you need to fetch things from the cache, it can be a lot of data, right? Or if you're on 4G and so you don't want to reload all the time. So you can just steal this bit of code here. Just gonna gist it. Should work. Nope. I can send it to you if you want. But basically,
Yes,
what it does, it checks the m time of the shell.nix file. And then it's... because Nix has two parts, right? Like there's the instantiation where it evaluates the Nix code into DRV files. And then there's the build phase that evaluates the DRV into build outputs. That's where it actually builds stuff. And so what we want to do is keep the DRV file around. And then if it doesn't change, then you just ignore it. You don't rebuild it, basically.
Okay. And is this somewhere in the wiki, or is this just what you have on your local?
I think there's a version in the wiki, but I can just send it to you. So, what should I do? Just gonna paste it to gists. Use Nix fast.sh. Okay. So you take this. And
Which chat did you post it? Ah, this one. Okay. Let me reshare. Okay. Can you see my screen?
yeah.
Cool. So like this, right?
There's a RC at the end. Without the
I
dots.
just
Yeah, it's fine. We can rename it after.
paste it in and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So this overrides the version. You just need to rename the file to Direnv RC without the dots.
Without the dots. Okay. Okie dokes. Then how do I know it's
So now you just exit and re-enter. So this one is going to be slow and this should be faster. If you go
the next one should
one
be
again. Oh, okay. So that's because you're on a Mac and the start command works a bit differently.
Yeah, probably. But it is fast.
Yeah, it's failing fast.
Feeling fast, yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look. So search for a stat. Right, so here I'm looking for the Unix timestamp, which is like the dollar, like a %y. Let's see, macros stats. So yeah, basically Lori, the other projects we were talking about, already integrates this kind of optimization.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
There's another project called Lori.
Ah, Lori. Yeah. Lori. Yeah.
So they already integrate that kind of optimization.
Cool. So then
you don't need to. Okay.
This looks nice.
Yeah, I guess you could try that out.
I'm gonna try Lori.
I think I found.
I have another.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have another question. Is it possible to make this output a bit less verbose? Because
yeah,
it's so much that I've become accustomed to just mentally skip it.
Yeah.
But I haven't found a way to.
Yeah.
Not print it.
So there's a Direnv log format that you can set, and if you set it to MTE, so it's just gonna not output anything.
How do I set it?
Just set it in your environment. But I guess then you don't get any output, so it's kind of a...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would mute just whatever the use Nix does. So because if I set any other environment variables, it's still nice that I see that they're set. But for example, let's say here bar. Alright.
Yeah, you don't see it.
Right.
It's somewhere
Yeah.
in here.
It's somewhere in here, exactly. Yeah. Where is it? Is it in here?
I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't export it, but
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, there it is.
It is, yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think that's the problem of the Nix shell, that it pollutes your environment with so many variables.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with an alternative where you just basically you really care about one thing, is to set the path to your tools, right? That's the main thing you care about. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so I think there's other ways to achieve this without the Nix shell, but I would have to send you some links, or actually I can show you in my Direnv RC, for example, I have a prototype.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this Nix profile thing that comes up next. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it now.
And this one is very stupid. It just does a Nix build instead of a Nix shell. And then it assumes that the profile.nix is a derivation that contains the outputs with a bin folder.
Mm-hmm.
And then the load prefix command just adds the bin to the path, basically.
That makes sense, yeah.
So instead of kind of running Nix shell, we just build a derivation that contains all our dependencies.
Yeah, and then add it to path.
Yeah. So then you just have like the path that changes, and that's it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because it also, it doesn't overwrite if you have some specific things for your editors maybe, and then possibly Nix shell would override those.
Yeah. So here, for example, I think in the Direnv project, that's where I'm playing with that type of things. There's a profile.nix, and here there's a function in Nix packages called build-env that creates a simulating tree with all your dependencies. So if a Nix build a profile, in here you have you installed everything in that project, right? So the bin has all your dependencies. In share you have other manuals and things like that. And then you just reload and that's where the Go project. You can see it just sets the Go module and the path, and that's it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Cool.
Cool.
Can you put that on guest as well?
Sure.
Okay, I have one final question.
Right.
If I may share.
Go ahead.
Just finding the correct window. Right, so I'm going to do the backend where we have a Python web framework that uses PostgreSQL for data storage, and if I want to run tests or if I want to run the thing, I need to make PGSQL, which basically runs a Docker image with PostgreSQL, so that then I can do queries against. And I was thinking it would be super nice if I can somehow start and stop this Postgres when I enter the project and exit the project. either ideally native, like the Postgres that's natively installed with Nix, or not ideally the Docker image.
Yeah.
But have you ever done anything like that?
Sure. I mean, I had a few people asking me similar questions on the issue tracker. Like, one person wanted to even mount a folder when he enters the Direnv, and then unmount it when you exit. The problem is, Direnv can only track environment variables right now because that's the only thing you inherit between processes, and I also don't need to track the states. Like, otherwise you would have to. So starting is easy because you can just start, and if it's already started, you just do a no up. But stopping is difficult because you need to know that you need to somehow track all your bash instances and know that they all exited the shell. So that's not handled right now. So
yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was just like throwing it out there.
Yeah,
if you maybe have a great idea how to do it.
I think the Lorry project is actually trying to solve that problem. Because Lorry starts a daemon in the background, and then it can track services and start and stop them.
Cool. I'll definitely look into Lorry.
But what I usually do is I create a command that starts the services, and then I open another terminal to start the services, basically.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing. I have make Postgres and make Redis, and I just start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
cool.
Well, I'm out of questions.
Cool. I think we're running out of time as well.
Ah, perfect timing then.
Let me just answer to Infinity because he says for C development there is some other important environment variables like NixCC. That's true. So the Nix shell automatically adds environment variables that are tied to inputs that use add. But I think you can add them manually, like most of the time. That's not a great answer, but I think for the few environment variables that you need, I prefer to add them manually so I can track exactly what's in the environment. But yeah. Hey, cool! Okay, I think we should end here. It's been 53 minutes, and it was great talking to you, and thanks for bringing up the topic of Direnv and Nix.
Well, thank you for building Direnv and letting everybody use it. It's super nice piece of software. I really enjoy finding it and using it.
I'm just gonna paste you the gist, and then we can stop here.
Awesome.
So, before I forget, because and here it is. Alright, have a great day and see you soon, and see you on the next stream.
Cheers.
Bye.